So the first game we have on this episode that we're going to talk about is Concordia.
Designed by Mac Gerdts, artist is Marina Fahrenbach, Mac Gerdts, and Dominik Mayer, and it's published by, it's got 11 or more on it. Which version did you all play?
This version is specifically the Rio Grande games.
There you go.
I would assume. I don't know that for sure, but Cool Stuff is selling the Rio Grande games, so it's pretty safe to say that's probably the one we played.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't actually own it, so Concordia is a game that made a big splash, and we promptly ignored it. And no, I'm just kidding. We just never got around to playing it or buying it or whatever. And finally somebody had it and we're like, that's cool. Let's try it out. And these are going to be our impressions of it. So if you're not familiar with Concordia, you probably are or have heard about it or whatever. If not, I'm going to quickly go over the rules. I'm not going to explain everything in detail. Anything that we want to bring up afterwards, we will if we're talking about what we like about the game. But anyway, you're going to pick a board. There's multiple different boards, typically based on the player counts. And this board's going to have all these different regions of like European countries. And they have like these different areas that you're going to put these tokens out at semi-randomly. They're going to have resources on them. Each region will have usually 2 to 3 of these. And the idea that you're trying to do is move your guys around. You have a guy in a boat. The guy can obviously move between the two, those resources. I guess, I don't think they're called cities, but I'm going to call them cities because I can't remember what they're called.
Well, yeah, they go through routes to a spot.
They go through routes to between 2 spots. So when you move, you actually skip over the spot and then you're going to be between 2 different spots that you can then choose to like build a city on or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that you have, the colonist, can actually move on the land, which is brown. And then the boats that you have can move in the water. So obviously, it's a little bit of planning or whatever, but the way the game is played is you have a hand of cards and you're going to play one of these cards face up. You're going to perform what it says, and then that's going to be your turn. Next player goes. That card stays there until you play your Tribune card, which allows you to basically rest and pick up all your cards and, continue on. If you've ever played Mission Red Planet, it's the same system. Everybody has the same 9 cards or whatever it is. You play a card, it stays down until you play the card that picks them all up.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually add on to those because these cards will do different things. One of them will allow you to buy from this market that's at the top. These cards are called personality cards. There is a marketplace for them that come out left to right. And obviously, if you buy the left one, it's way cheaper because it's just the card cost that's printed on the card. Everything else to the right actually gets a bonus cost added onto it because you're buying it in advance or whatever. As you buy a card, they get shifted down, a new one comes off. And that is one of the game's ending conditions is if that deck or all those cards run out from being purchased. The second way the game can end is you can build a city when you move your guys. One of the cards will allow you to move one of your colonists or your ship. And you can build a city, which is the little meeples that are in Catan, the little village thing.
Right.
You can build it on one of these resource spots, and that's going to be one of your cities. You have so many of those. If somebody runs out of those, that triggers the end of the game. Otherwise, you're playing cards too. You can do a marketplace where you can sell resources for money. You can buy resources for money. There's another section to the board that actually has like the different regions, and then you put out a resource token on it for whatever is the highest one in that region. So if the blue region has it has a pottery, and that's the highest of the 3 tokens that are 3 cities that are there, you're going to put a pottery token there. Anyway, the reason is because there's a card that will allow you to get that resource if you are in that region or whatever. And then you can also use it to put them all face back down or to get money based on how many have been taken. So it's kind of people will get resources from that, but eventually it'll get nice because 6 or 7 of them are face down. And on the other side, it has gold amounts that you can collect. There's a bunch of other cards. It's not really needed to go over it, but basically all these cards have a color code on it that will, like the color of the banner of the name will be in purple or it'll be in blue or whatever. And there's in-game scoring for each of these. And so I won't go over all the in-game scoring, but one of them might be like for every set of resources that you have control of, which you're a city on, I believe, you're going to get points for. And obviously that's times the amount of cards that you have of that color. And so as you're buying new personality cards, you want to be cognizant of the fact that, I have a really good setup here, or maybe you get a point for every region that you have presence in. And so at the end of the game, if I have 4 of those cards, I get 4 times the amount. So that's the kind of idea that you're going for. And I think I've pretty much went over everything that we need to talk about it. But Matt, did you check this one out at all?
I did not watch a video on it. I've looking at the pictures at it. That's about all I know about it. It did catch my eye. It was a Kinderspiel nomination, I guess. But
yeah, I always kind of wanted to play it, but I looked at it and I was like, nah, I might pass on it right now. Yeah, just because it's not very pretty.
It's not the prettiest game in the world. That was the main thing. I was just looking at the pictures. It's kind of a bland looking game.
Yeah, I agree.
And has a very general, basically getting items
typical
from
brown Euro.
Right, the Mediterranean trading.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I actually really enjoyed this game.
Yeah, I did too.
It was really good, like to the point where I probably will buy it unless Eric buys it first.
One of us will get it.
One of us will own this game. It is super good.
Wow.
And I'm a huge fan of games that do you have so many cards, play one, and then you lose that card until you play the rest.
I do like that system.
Yeah. And I don't think we've played enough, like as many as I would like to have. I can't even think of another game other than Mission Red Planet, but I know we have played many games with it.
All right.
I'm just not thinking about it. But other than the bland Euro style artwork and stuff, I thought it was awesome. The only negative I have about the game, which is kind of a positive in some ways, is the fact that the scoring is absolutely just out there. Like, meaning that you don't score anything until the very end.
Now, I kind of like that a little bit because on a lot of games, you can be that person that trails behind and you're like, oh man, it's only halfway through. I don't really feel like I even have a shot. I'm so far behind. But in this game, there is no scoring throughout the game. You score everything at the end. So in your mind, even though you could be doing really bad, you might still be in it.
I agree. It gives you that sense of hope.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is it also gives you no sense to how well you are doing.
That's true. Right.
And then I feel like the problem is with ultra competitive people, they are playing the game and they're visual at this point. Mm-hmm. And if somebody looks like they are doing better than somebody else, there's not a whole lot I don't think you can do to really mess with somebody,
right,
other than purposely going out of the way to take cards that you notice they are taking, which is probably a good thing to do anyway.
Sure. Because
they're probably taking blue cards specifically to score that.
Right. They might be scoring the max for every, blue card.
Yeah. So other than that, though, I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really good.
Yeah, I did like the aspect where you got to choose basically on how you're going to be scored at the end of the game. So you can be like, all right, I'm going to go down, specific paths and grab these cards. And each one of these cards I get is worth 12 points.
Yeah. It's like Matt, your starter deck has one of all the different types. I believe like maybe two of one of them, but you already have you can't get rid of cards. So you already have one card for every scoring method. And so as you buy new cards, sometimes you buy the ones that you
need to use, right?
Yeah, rather than to score off of, but then you buy the ones that's like I think I was going after the yellow ones, which I can't remember what they do now, but maybe it was like, I don't remember. I think it's for every brick resource or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's brick in the game. No, there was, yeah.
Right.
So, I don't know. But the point is I was going after a specific color and I ended up getting like 4 or 5 of that. And I was buying cards sometimes that I didn't even use. Because I had this like little pattern, play this, and rest, and just kind of do that. And then every once in a while, I'll switch it up and buy a card. So, no, it's really good. Really good. I'm super impressed with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, when y'all buy it, let me play it.
Yeah, right? All right, anything else, Eric, that you had to talk about?
Besides the artwork, it was only the real drawback for me. I definitely didn't prefer the box art. And a lot of people said that the maps and stuff really appealed to them. It was just okay for me.
I will say the box art, as soon as I saw the box art, that stood out to me. So they did a good job at least catching your eye with the box cover. So
that's fair.
It needs to be reskinned though.
Retheme, like just
whole retheme.
Yeah, retheme. Well, not retheme, just better graphics.
Sure.
Artwork and everything.
That's fair. To me, I think that it is one of those factors that will grab your attention at first.
Mm-hmm. But it has to keep it's what's in the game and the mechanics of the game and the gameplay itself that will keep you
like
there.
Once I play a game, I kind of look past the art. That becomes a secondary, like, did I like it or not? But it didn't really impact the game unless it was really, really bad.
Right.
I don't think it's really bad.
Enough.
It's just typical bland Euro.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that is Concordia, which I believe has an expansion out.
It has 2 expansions. I think one of them is just maps. Another, the Salsa, I believe, has 3 mini, I think, expansions that go into it
modules.
as well. Modules, right.
Well, that's cool. If you are like us and you have not played Concordia, let us know, because I want to make sure that we're not the only people in the world who hasn't played this. I'm assuming not, but anyway.